Welcome to this edition of Cardinal Clips. We're pleased to have our new high school principal, Paul Schmitz, here, and we hope you enjoy the show. Paul, I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate you coming in. Are you having fun yet?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm always having fun, but I definitely have fun, and I love my job. So far, so good.
What do you think the biggest change has been for you moving from the AP job into the what I call the big office?
The biggest change for me is disengaging from the day-to-day life of students. When I was the assistant principal, along with Neil Schendel as the other assistant principal, I really felt responsible for the flow of the kids, the day-to-day operations of the students, the safety, security of our building, and really being involved in every aspect of the students' academic lives. And it's been difficult for me to disengage from that because I have other responsibilities now in regards to curriculum and teaching and helping the new teachers acclimate themselves to our expectations here. And the toughest part's been disengaging from the student life.
Conversely, what's been the most fun? Has anything been fun?
Oh, it's all been a lot of fun. It's really been great for me to be able to have professional conversations with the teachers. I'm fortunate to be able to move from the assistant role to the head role. So I had working relationships in a supportive role to the teachers before, and developed a great rapport with all of the staff here. And now to be in a leadership position and working with them, I have a good understanding of the curriculum. I have a good understanding already of the needs and concerns that they have going in, and then just working to improve what we already do very well in the building.
I know that you've been here for quite a while. You want to kind of give us a review of your career in Willmar?
Well, I think it's been 17 years. This is maybe, I think, my 17th year. I haven't gone back and done the math. But the first interview I had as I was a long-term sub in a school district, Centennial, Minnesota. And I got an interview to be a psychology teacher at Willmar Senior High School. And it was my first interview of the spring, and my wife asked me, "Where's Willmar?" We literally had to look it up on a map. We were living in Minneapolis at the time. And I came out for an interview, and I got a call from a guy named Jim Stoltz that night, and he said, "Schmitz, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is you're not getting offered the high school psychology job," and they gave that position to a guy named Lyle Hovland, and it's worked out for him. And but he said, "I sat in on those interviews, and the guy that we hired was a middle school teacher for me teaching history, and how'd you like to come to Willmar and teach history?" I said, "Well, let me think about it for a day." I didn't have a lot of experience with middle school, and but it was my first interview. I kind of was thinking of the summer, and I was familiar with Willmar. I have some extended family, and I'm originally from Springfield, Minnesota, which is just 60 miles south of here, and so close to my parents still live there, and it was close, and thought it would be a good fit, and my wife and I came out and toured the town, and then that next day and then that afternoon I accepted the position, and we've been here ever since. And so I started out as a teacher teaching history in the middle school, and I did that for 6.5 years, and then through some budget cuts, through some changing during, I mid-year became the athletic director and the dean of students at the middle school. I did that for 2.5, 3 years, and then became the high school athletic director, and I did that for 3 years, then 6 years if my math is right, I think 6 years as the assistant principal, and now 2 months as the head principal. So I joke I've done everything but drive the bus and flip the hamburgers in the district.
You may get to find out what that's like the longer you're in the job.
Yeah, I hope not. That would mean some pretty drastic budget cuts, but because we have very capable people in both those departments that could do both of those jobs far better than me.
What is it that's been your biggest surprise moving into the principal's job?
The biggest surprise that I've had is the numbers of people who are interested. I'll give you specific examples, and then you can draw your conclusions. I'll get college professors who call me up and who want to come and do a study with our students because we have a high newcomers population. I'll have local businesses that we're building partnerships with, and it's been fantastic and working with them. We have all sorts of different groups, and I'm now the point person for everyone who wants access or should get access, and the partnerships that we have in our building with our teachers and our kids, and all of them have value. I've appreciated all of them, but the amount of time that I don't spend either in the building or working with kids and teachers and doing a lot of the coordinating in the community has been a surprise to me as how much of that at the high school principal position it takes. And I'll get more efficient with time. I think once I'm used to it and I kind of know the flow of the year, and I'll get good at kind of recognizing what brings value to our students and what is something that we'll have to pass on.
This year is the first year we've done iPads. I know you were involved in it even when you were in AP. Could you give us what your observation is on the implementation of the iPads this fall and how you think it's going and what you've seen?
My initial evaluation has some pros and cons, but far more pros. With this new technology, what happens is it forces a lot more preschool work than the typical traditional way of teaching. The teachers have to have hours and hours of prep work to really be prepared for the kids to have that tool in their hands so they're ready for them. And so it's been great to watch the teachers have been very motivated. They've been working in technology learning communities, coming in early before school. Many teachers worked throughout the summer to prepare for this. And so to see that collaboration and to see that intentional transformation of their classrooms from the teacher side has been great. From the student side, it's been fantastic. You see freshmen walking around with 60-pound backpacks, and you see seniors walking around with a folder and an iPad. And to have everything in one place. My daughter had the flu, and her homework is there for her. It really makes the transfer of information. It's really slick. And the teachers that have put the time in, it's been absolutely fantastic. The one downside, logistically a little bit, like anything that has power for good as far as information, it really is easy for the kids to be distracted, and it's been a challenge for the teachers to make sure to constantly monitor that the kids are constantly where they're supposed to be. It's not possible, and we wouldn't want to lock the kids down. And so if a student downloads a game on their iPad, the teacher's responsibility is to make sure that they're using it for the curriculum. We just had a staff in-service, and one of the bullets agenda items was to talk about continuing implementation and expanding the program. And the near full consensus is it's working, the kids are more engaged, the teachers see the value, the kids see the value, and we'll be expanding the program, incrementally expanding it as we can determine we're on solid ground for educational purposes, and so far it's been great. I don't have any sort of data yet, but just anecdotally, I'm hearing from teachers the kids more engaged. The kids like them. They like them because they're fun, they're interesting, and there's some learning that's going along too.
Yeah, that would be our hope, wouldn't it? We'd like to have a little learning go on too.
Yeah, and so there's really some efficiencies. You know, just one of the things, a lot of what the kids do electronically, and they were doing that before, and everybody had their own platform and everybody had their own version, and just if a student wanted to bring a paper in and bring an electronic version of a paper in, flash drives and emails, to have everybody on the same platform. And if a student does a video as part of an assessment, we know it will work and it's instantaneous. And we've seen some really, really powerful things for students with learning disabilities, and for them to be able to use the iPads to close the gap and to get them more involved in mainstream classes, as opposed to having their disability be a disability when it comes to education. We've had lots of fantastic stories with success.
I know one of the big questions is across the community is, are you going to do freshmen and sophomores next year? I think the last time we talked, you weren't real sure yet. Has that changed at all?
That was it, and so today we're taping this on a Thursday, and yesterday afternoon was our in-service, and we broke out into 12 different departments at one point during our in-service, and that was a bullet item for every single department to talk about and to give me their department's evaluation of where they're at as far as how they've done with the implementation, what they need to improve on, and then their personal recommendation from their department for what they would like to see. And I walked around to the different departments. You know, I got to a few of them. I couldn't get to all 12 for that discussion. And so that data is sitting on my desk right now. Every teacher, by the end of the day today, is emailing me what their evaluation is. And so far, with the departments that I've talked to, it's been nearly unanimous that they would like to see this extended to the 10th grade. Now, if we do, and what we found, every 11th and 12th grader automatically gets them. But if there's a 10th grader who's accelerated and has found themselves in a class that's typically 11th or 12th grade, we have had them go through the training and pay the fee, and got their parents involved with signatures and expectations, and given some 10th graders those iPads. And so we know that if we extend it to 10th grade, that now will mean there'll be some accelerated 9th graders that will be receiving iPads. And so that, if I had to let you know right now where I think we'll go, I would say that we'll be looking at adding 10th grade next year. It's possible that we may just do it on a class-by-class basis, that departments that are ready and you want to designate your 10th grade class as an iPad class, and we'll put a little apple next to the course description in the course catalog, and students know if they sign up for this class, they prepare to pay the fee and go through the training and do everything you need to prepare for that class as a prerequisite. That at a minimum is where we're going, and it might be possible that we'll just universally give every student who makes it to 10th grade an iPad, which then would include some 9th graders. So we're right between those two concepts right now.
When you think back on your career, what made you decide to become an administrator?
This goes back to Thanksgiving. We're taping this right before Thanksgiving. When you go to Thanksgiving with the Schmitzes, our whole extended family is there, and you have to stand up in front of everybody when you're college age, and you have to give a report on your last year and say what you're going to do for the next year. And I didn't know for sure what I wanted to do. I was a junior in college. I was kind of back and forth on a couple of different career paths, and I decided I wanted to go into teaching. And so I announced that at Thanksgiving. You have to tell what your plans are, what your majors are, and it's high stakes and raises the bar for expectations in my family. It's 100-plus people there. And afterwards, one of my aunts came up to me and grabbed me by the arm and said, "You're going to be a great principal one day." And I somewhat blew off but it planted a seed. And so I thought, principal, I hadn't really thought about that. And as I went through the rest of my education as a first-year teacher, I think I thought about decisions from an administrative standpoint. Now, whether that statement made the difference or not, I don't know. But I think it was something that I always considered. And I've been very, very fortunate to have doors open up for me right within the Willmar School District. I know it's unusual, and I'm very appreciative of the school system for the opportunities that I've had and the timing. It's, a lot of times careers are about timing, and if I would have been a head principal any sooner, I don't think I would have been ready. The doors have kind of opened. I taught for 7 years, which was a good amount of time to have a good understanding, to be a leader for teachers. Maybe not enough, but I got a great 7 years of teaching in. I was able to be an activities director to see that side of it. And so the next step has always been natural. I've always been in every position thinking that might be where I would stay. And then after a period of time, the next door of opportunity presented itself. So I didn't go into this saying, I'm going to be a head principal. I went in being a teacher thinking I would teach for at least 10 years. Well, inside of that, the next opportunity came, and I've just been very fortunate.
Share a little bit with us about your family, your wife. I know she is in education also. Mm-hmm. So how about if you do that?
Sure. My wife's name is Regina. She works for United Way, and you've maybe seen her around town as the Growmobile lady. She runs a mobile preschool. She goes into daycares during the school year, and then into trailer parks and parks around town in the surrounding communities throughout the summer. And she's been doing that for 5 years or so. And I have 4 children. All of them are Willmar Public School kids. I have a son who's now in his first year at the University of Minnesota.
Your 8th grade daughter was on the state tournament entrant cross-country team. How was that welcomed in your household?
I've always been a big sports guy, and who would have thought that I'd become a cross-country fanatic? But yeah, I like to brag about my kids more than maybe everybody, more than I should. But my daughter is one of the 8th grade girls who, as part of the team that made it to the state cross-country meet. And it's just been really fun to have my daughter plugged into such a fantastic program. And we have lots of amazing programs here. Cross-country is one of them. And to see their practices, they have 95 kids out for cross-country, and Mr. Pop and the coaches care about the kid who comes in 95th every bit as much as any one of the state girls, and that's what really it's the team concept. It's been so fun to watch, and fun to have my own child then as part of one of those great activities.
Has she been able to get you to go run with her during the summer? Seems like a good father-daughter activity. It's
funny you should ask, because I learned very quickly that those kids are fast. And our assistant principal here, Scott Hiskin, I was talking about my kid. He's a runner and an athlete, played college football, and he thought one day that he would go out and run with the kids. So Mr. Pop picked a day when it was their cool down. So it was just going to be an easy 4-mile jog for the kids. And he thought, I'll go out and run with them. And he was hurting for a long, long time. But those kids run at a pace that it's amazing how fast they are. To make it to the level where all of those kids are, they're fast. I couldn't even dream about. I'd have to ride my bike to keep up with any of them.
Let's go back in life. You said you went to Springfield. Were you an athlete when you were in high school?
I loved sports and enjoyed sports. I had very competitive teams in high school. I blew up my ACL my junior year, and so I lost. Back then, 1986, I lost the second half of my junior year of my basketball season and my entire senior year. It was almost a 2-year recovery at that point, and so golf was then the only sport I could compete in my senior year, which was, even then I had to get a medical waiver for a pull cart. It was rough. But yeah, I love sports, and I have come from a family of 7, and my brothers. I have a brother a year older than me and a brother 2 years younger, and we've been, whatever season it was, that's what we played since we were little, and so that was a huge part of my life growing up. As far as me as a student, I was really a good student in college, high school. Maybe I could associate with a lot of the kids out here as the assistant principal because I wasn't locked into school like I could have been in high school, and I didn't figure that out till the maturity came in college, and I went to St. John's. So,
right now we're about Thanksgiving. You're still trying to find your office a lot of days. At the end of your first year, when you look back on it, how will you measure your success as a senior high principal?
Well, the principal of a building as big as this, I guess that will be something that I'll be asking you as my boss. That will be a big part of it. Direction from the board and direction from you, the superintendent, to make sure that we're doing the directives that have been sent down to us. I really hope and feel like I'm approachable. I think the teachers, if there is an issue, I feel like I have a rapport with the teachers where I'll have a pretty good sense of the pulse of where the teachers are at. And one other thing, as I think about that and I think about my connection with the community and the parents, I think one of the things that's overrated is this idea of the helicopter parent and pushy parents these days. I don't feel that at all. I feel like, we really welcome parent input. If there's a concern, I'm constantly encouraging when I have parent meetings to call. If you don't tell us, we're not going to know about it. And so I really hope that I can develop a relationship, and I'm having success if I'm hearing the concerns and people are able to come to me and I'm responding to those. And tough to gauge exactly, to put a measure on that level of success. But I would really hope that a lot of being a leader is the perception, and if our school is perceived as a safe place where learning is taking place and people feel open to come in and talk to us and make that complaint or share that concern and share that success. If I continue to have those doors open, then I would feel that's would help define what a successful principal is.
When you think about it, education's undergoing just huge changes. Is there any one or two things that you can think of that are coming down the pike that are really going to change the way we do high school education?
Well, the changes in math and science is something that we're really working on, and just across the board with the core curriculum, a lot of the students coming into Willmar Senior High School will now need, believe it or not, 5 years of math. If they're not through Algebra 1, with the new state standards, they have to get through 4 classes, and if they're not ready for Algebra 1, they even need a pre-high school class. The block schedule allows us to do that and give kids 2 years of math in one. So, people that wonder about education these days, the people that really know the standards and what's expected from kids from the state is way more rigorous than it used to be. If you graduate from Willmar Senior High School and passing all of the tests, it's all the way through geometry, functions, a statistics class, Algebra 2, besides Algebra, 3 classes after that. And when I was in high school, it was just Algebra. Get through Algebra and you were fine. Plus physics or chemistry is now going to be required for kids that are in 10th grade in order for them to graduate. And so those are some of the big challenges. But at the same time, I take pride in the full offerings that we offer. high school needs to be a chance also for kids to explore careers and to try different things and to take classes on fitness and health and to take classes in ag and agriculture and try a foreign language and to just to do all sorts of different things. I really hope the state doesn't lock high school down to just standards. I think that would be a mistake. I think we still need to give kids some options in high school for being able to explore things before they get locked into a career. And it really is, some of the kids, especially the ones that struggle, high school is becoming really all about math, passing these tests, passing the reading tests, which I don't necessarily think is, I recognize the intention for it, but we need to make sure that there's some balance that's maintained for what we're expecting kids to do.
Yeah, it seems like there's a significantly more pressure put on high school kids now than there used to be.
There's no question, and then the teachers feel it too. And I know that that's all the way K-12. The teachers that I know in all the different buildings, there's scrutiny like there never has been before, and we're all about transparency. We're all about accountability, but at the same time, to treat school like a business and to have measures the same way. There needs to be a balance because there's more to education than just a math score, although math scores are important. We just need to make sure that one category isn't being overemphasized, and we really need to do a better job in education in general, and then Willmar can respond to that, is taking a look at the needs in our society as far as job placement and what we need and the skills that we need going forward, and make sure that our curriculum in high schools are matching specifically those needs and not necessarily compare ourselves on standardized tests that aren't directly applicable to skills that employers want. I mean, that's really what we need to do. And then besides that, we also need to give those kids the ability to explore different options within a curriculum to be able to find their niche and not lock them in too soon. So high school needs to be skill-based, but also have that exploratory angle to it. So it's balancing the combination of the two.
Well, Paul, thank you very much for coming in to talk to me. I think it gives the community an opportunity to see what you're like and get a good picture of you. Thanks for taking the time.
Well, you're certainly welcome, Jerry. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of Cardinal Clips. All of us here in the district hope that you have a great holiday season. And remember, students that are using our iPads today are the leaders of tomorrow.